is Veronica Whitley. I'm a Homeworks by Precept consultant and homeschool mom here in Texas. Have you ever had one of those homeschool days where you just can't get everything done? You want to cover all of your child's subjects, but you don't have the time to do everything laid out for you in the teacher's edition? When I have days like that, it often becomes a choice between all or nothing. If I can't do everything that the teacher's edition lays out, I usually wind up doing nothing at all. This is where the Teacher's Edition Companion can be a helpful tool on those busy homeschool days. It wasn't designed to take the place of your Teacher's Edition, but to work alongside it as an accessible, quick reference, at-a-glance guide that allows you to hit the highlights and key elements of a lesson so that you can continue to move forward on those busy homeschool days. Let's take a look inside of both the Teacher's Edition and the Teacher's Edition Companion and compare them side by side to see how you can best utilize each of these tools in your homeschool. The Teacher's Edition for Science 4 is 2 parts. There are over 450 pages of information contained in these 2 volumes. This is the Teacher's Edition Companion for Science 4. The Teacher's Edition Companion was never intended to completely replace your Teacher's Editions. The information included in the Teacher's Edition is still going to form the foundation of each lesson that you teach. Even on days that you choose to utilize the information in the Teacher's Edition Companion, you will still be referred back to your Teacher's Edition for additional information, resources, or instructional aids that can be found in the appendix of the Teacher's Edition. Here we have the table of contents. There's a large section of introductory material, and then the units are highlighted, as well as the chapters, features from within the chapter, and their page numbers. Part 1 of the Teacher's Edition only covers chapters 1 through 8. Chapters 9 through 16 will be covered in Part 2, but all of the chapters and page numbers are included in both Teacher's Editions. And then at the end of the table of contents, you'll see a series of teacher resources. Here we have the table of contents with some introductory material, the chapter titles and page numbers, and some information and resources located in the back of the Teacher's Edition Companion. The biblical worldview shaping themes that are addressed in this course are explained in depth in the Teacher's Edition. You can also scan the QR code for more information. These pages will offer some information about the objectives for the course, how you will help your child accomplish those objectives, and how you can evaluate and assess what they have learned. The Technology Solutions pages will reference online resources that may be helpful to you. Teacher Tools Online is only available to classroom teachers. After School Help and the Homeschool Hub are the 2 resources referenced in the Teacher's Edition Companion because those are resources that are available to homeschool families. Next, you'll see the objectives of Science 4, as well as an explanation of the instructional materials included in your textbook kit. Here we have the teaching cycle that is utilized in the lessons of Science 4. Engage, instruct, apply, and assess. You'll see that the lessons in the Teacher's Edition will walk through each of these steps. Next, these pages explain the different features of your child's Student Edition, their activities manual, and your Teacher's Edition. There are a few pages of information directed to the teacher. As a homeschool parent, that's you. You can take your time reading through these pages and familiarizing yourself with scheduling lessons, teaching lessons, and facilitating the different activities and assignments, as well as how you can grade your child's tests, activities, and daily work. If this is your first time utilizing a Teacher's Edition companion, this page will explain the purpose and intent of the Teacher's Edition companion, and this page will highlight the features of the Teacher's Edition companion. Here we have some different resources: the Homeschool Hub, the resources located at the back of your Teacher's Edition companion, and the AfterSchoolHelp.com website. All of these were designed with homeschool families in mind. After the unit opener, you'll see the lesson plan overview for this chapter. In the Teacher's Edition companion, you'll notice that the lesson plan overview contains all of the lesson plans for all 16 chapters at the beginning of the book. In the Teacher's Edition, the lesson plan overview is at the beginning of each chapter. You'll see the chapter number and title across the top, and then you'll see the lesson numbers and titles running through each of the different columns. You may also notice that the lesson plan overview in the Teacher's Edition is a little more detailed than it is in the Teacher's Edition companion. You'll see the page numbers listed in the first column. These page numbers refer to both the Teacher's Edition and your child's Student Edition. Next, you have the lesson objectives, and you'll notice that the biblical worldview shaping themes are also highlighted within the lesson plan overview. Next, this column tells you what printed resources and materials you'll need in each lesson. You have a column for digital resources. You'll notice that the Teacher's Edition references Teacher Tools Online. Again, that is a website designed for Christian schools. As homeschool parents, our resources can be found in the Homeschool Hub. And then in the last column, you have your assessments. This is where you'll find things like quick check questions, rubrics, quizzes, and tests. The lesson plan overview is located at the front of the Teacher's Edition companion for all of the chapters. Across the top, you'll see the chapter number and title, and then in the first column, we have the lesson number, the Teacher's Edition pages, the Student Edition page numbers, the Activities Manual page numbers, and the last column has the lesson objectives. You'll also see the biblical worldview shaping themes highlighted in these yellow boxes. Now let's take a look at what a lesson looks like in the Teacher's Edition of Science 4. We start with the Unit 1 opener. You'll see that your Teacher's Edition has a smaller version of your child's student textbook right here for you, so you can see what your child is seeing. The information in the margins will introduce, in this case, the whole book because it's Unit 1, and help you to guide a visual analysis of the picture so that you can begin a conversation with your child about what they're going to be learning. After the unit opener, you'll see the lesson plan overview. Let's look at Lesson 8 in the Teacher's Edition. In the Teacher's Edition companion, this lesson was covered in one page, but in the Teacher's Edition, this lesson is covered over 4 pages. Similar to the Teacher's Edition companion, you'll see the lesson number in the top corner of each page. You'll also see the Student Edition pages referenced, as well as the pages in your child's activities manual. At the beginning of each lesson, you'll see the essential question, followed by the lesson objectives with the biblical worldview shaping theme highlighted. Next, you have any printed resources that you'll need, digital resources, and materials. You'll also notice the elements of the teaching cycle. The engage portion of the teaching cycle is designed to generate interest in the upcoming lesson. You'll talk about the essential question and read through the pages in your child's student textbook. The instruct portion of the teaching cycle will walk you through the steps of teaching the content of the lesson. The lesson continues on the next 2 pages with more information for you to share with your child. You'll also see boxes with some background information. You'll also see a box with the answers to the quick check questions that can be found in your child's student edition. Here you'll see the last 2 sections of the teaching cycle, apply and assess. The apply section will generally include an activity and your child's assignment for the day. The assess portion of the lesson may include a rubric that will be used to grade and evaluate an activity, or a quiz or test. In the Teacher's Edition, you also have lessons 9 and 10 on 1 page. You'll see the objective, printed resources, digital resources, and preparation. This lesson only includes the apply section of the teaching cycle because it is the chapter review. Lesson 10 is the chapter test, so you'll see the assess portion of the teaching cycle listed, instructing you to administer the chapter 1 test. Here we have the at-a-glance lessons for homeschool. Remember, the Teacher's Edition Companion was designed specifically for busy homeschool families. This is what a lesson will look like in the Teacher's Edition Companion. Let's look at Lesson 8 as an example. Here in the corner, you'll see the lesson number. You'll also see the Teacher and Student Edition pages and Activity Manual pages listed here at the top. Here in the margin, you'll have a snapshot of your child's textbook pages and activity pages. This is designed to give you a quick reference for how many pages they'll need to read. You'll see that there are 4 pages pictured here and 2 pages pictured in the activity manual. You'll see their reading assignment in this band across the top, and then some reading check questions along with their answers, and the page numbers where these answers can be found in your child's student edition. These reading check questions are a way for you to assess and evaluate how well your child is comprehending what they have read and if they're understanding the material in the lesson. Next, we have the lesson objectives. These are the key themes or concepts that your child will need to know and understand at the end of this lesson. This little yellow box signifies a biblical worldview shaping theme. If you see this yellow box, you'll also see a biblical worldview shaping section. These statements help to promote discussion and conversation with your child about ways that God's Word applies to the content of the lesson. Next, you'll see a section for resources and materials. The resources section will point you to instructional aids or additional resources that can be found in your Teacher's Edition or on the Homeschool Hub. The materials section will list items that you may need to complete this assignment. Next, we have the assignment options. You'll see 3 different options in these boxes. Option 1 contains less work and will generally take less time to complete. This is a good option to choose if you or your child are pressed for time. This can also offer a simple review to a child who has already mastered the concept covered in the lesson, or it can be a good choice to not overwhelm or frustrate a child who is struggling to learn the material. Option 3 is going to have the most work assigned. This can be a good option for a child who needs a little bit more of a challenge or wants to pursue the subject matter a little more deeply. The highlighted option is generally considered the standard option for this lesson. But as a homeschool parent, you should feel free to choose whichever option best fits your daily schedule and your child's needs. Lessons 9 and 10 are on the same page. This page has the chapter review for Chapter 1, as well as the Chapter 1 test. Under the Chapter Review section, you'll see instructions to look in your Teacher's Edition for additional information and details. You'll have resources listed and one assignment option. Lesson 10 is the chapter test. Under the resources section, you'll be referred to the Homeschool Hub. This link offers information for an upcoming lesson that you'll need to start preparing for early. And then you'll also see the assessments and the chapter test listed. These boxes in the margins or at the bottom of each page will offer additional information or notes for you as the teacher. Let's also take a look at Lesson 38. This is one of my favorite activities in 4th grade, the Bird Beak Buffet. This is an investigation activity. In the Teacher's Edition Companion, this lesson was covered in 1 page. In the Teacher's Edition, this lesson is covered over the course of 5 pages. In the Teacher's Edition, you will have your lesson objectives, your printed resources, your digital resources, and a list of materials. You're also given instructions on how to prepare for this activity. In addition to including the introductory page from your child's student edition, the Teacher's Edition also includes the pages from your child's activities manual, as well as the answers to the work text pages. Lesson 38 is an investigation. In the margin, you'll see your child's student edition page, their pages from the activities manual, as well as an instructional aid that's referenced under the resources section. Lessons that include investigations, inquiries, explorations, or STEM activities may be a little more involved and require a little more information than what is given to you exclusively in the Teacher's Edition Companion. You may want to reference your Teacher's Edition for detailed instructions on how to set up and facilitate these types of activities. At the end of both Part 1 and Part 2 of the Teacher's Edition, you'll also find a series of resources. Here, we have a glossary that can be found in your child's student edition with vocabulary words from their reading. Next, you have a materials list. We have standard science supplies and basic supplies, as well as supplies that will be specific to each chapter and the different activities. After the materials list, we have a game bank. In both parts 1 and 2 of the Teacher's Edition, there is a series of instructional aids at the end of the Teacher's Edition. These are referenced both in the Teacher's Edition and in the Teacher's Edition Companion. Following the instructional aids, you'll have a Student Edition Index. The Student Edition Index is followed by an index of the Teacher's Edition. And lastly, there is a section on explaining the gospel. After the final lesson, you'll have an appendix with a series of helpful resources designed for homeschool families. First, we have collaboration ideas. This page gives some ideas on how to help your child work with other students. There are some lessons or assignments throughout this course where the Teacher's Edition will suggest having your child work with another student. We know as homeschool families, this isn't always the easiest thing to do because often our class consists of just one student. But this page offers some practical ideas on how to make collaborative learning a possibility. Next, there are some ideas for one-on-one activities and games. These ideas are not specific to the subject of the Teacher's Edition Companion. They offer some general ideas, as well as ideas for different subjects: Bible, English and language arts, heritage studies, math, phonics, and science. And you'll often see ideas from this section suggested under the review section in your Teacher's Edition companion. And then lastly, we have a section of educational terms. This glossary will define terms that are frequently used in the Teacher's Edition. While you may be familiar with some of them, many of them may be used more commonly in a classroom setting.